everyone, welcome to your Gemini Full Moon Workshop. So, in the true spirit of Gemini, I feel like this workshop is going to be very direct to the point, very quick, very easy to understand. With the transits that are going on with this specific full moon, there's a lot of mutable energy, lots of opportunity to adapt and to change. And a big part for me that was coming through when I was channeling is what is noise and what is music. And realistically, we attune ourselves to find pleasure through certain words, certain music. If we were told when we were younger that certain noise was meant to be music and music that we enjoyed was noise and it was disturbing people, then we are likely to have a warped perception of what is noise and what is music, what beliefs sit and resonate and make us feel good, and what beliefs we inherited that are antiquated and are no longer aligned. So I remember as a family, we would drive to do either road trips or do whatever. Especially there was always a trip from Saskatoon to Edmonton that would take about 6 hours. We do it every year to go visit family. And every time I was like sandwiched in the middle seat in the back between my two older brothers, we'd always listen to this cassette back in the day in the 90s. If you know, you know, this cassette of Neil Diamond. And nothing, no disrespect to Neil Diamond, but I did not like that music. It was always so annoying whenever I was like, I just want to listen to like NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys or whatever it was. It was always this cassette. It was so draining to me, but my entire family loved it. They'd be singing along to Sweet Caroline. I was like, I cannot. And I feel like I didn't have a voice or autonomy as to what I liked or what I wanted to enjoy. So it was always nice when I got my own car, listening to Tiesto or Kelvin Harris or whatever I deemed to be music that made me feel good. The words, the music, the relationships, the cities, the opportunity that make you feel good. What are we doing to place ourselves in alignment to be in the presence of music, the right mantras, affirmations, lifestyles, frequencies? And where are we still taking in noise to appease other people, to make other people proud, to do things out of duty and obligation, even though the entire time there's this noise? Like, could you imagine going through your day-to-day life and having the sounds of sawing and construction noise around you at all times, being on a beautiful date and having a construction site right beside you, right at the next table, drilling and sawing? You can't even hear the words of your date or your loved one across from you at the table. Well, guess what it feels like to have a mind that's constantly anxious, constantly stressed. It's the equivalent of having something noisy, loudful, disruptive affecting every part of your life. So this full moon is an opportunity to change that, to shift the narrative, okay? So I just want to show you the transits that we're currently experiencing with this full moon. So the full moon is happening on Monday, November 27th at approximately 1:16 a.m. So with that being said, you may have already been feeling this, what is noise, what is music, over the weekend. But especially on Monday, this might seem very loud, obvious, clear where you need to place a boundary, because we have this full moon in Gemini. So Gemini is a mutable air sign ruled by Mercury. So that's what I'm saying. If you have been struggling or suffering in a certain part of your life of maybe hearing these unaligned thoughts or being around unaligned people, energy, relationships, what is it that you're wanting to shift? Who is it that you're wanting to connect with? What words, stories, beliefs, or music do you want to listen to now? Going back to my own personal analogy, let's say we were playing NSYNC and I was like, finally, it's my turn to listen to a song that I like. And my parents immediately changed it back to Neil Diamond. Well, that's not going to do anyone any good. If we get 10 seconds into the song that I want to listen to and it gets instantly changed back to something else, that is not going to be conducive for my own enjoyment. If you start planting the seed for a new belief, a new idea, a new mindset, and then someone or yourself changes it back to the old paradigm of there's never enough, everything is too expensive, nothing ever works out, you're not even going to get to bask in the results of that new mindset, of that new song, so to speak. So we're looking at Mercury here, given that Mercury is a ruling planet of Gemini. Mercury is in the sign of Sagittarius, co-present the Sun and Mars. So Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, right? There's this expansive quality. Part of me thinks that with this full moon is that there is an opportunity for you to go bigger, to affirm your deepest, most expansive dreams. Maybe they might not make sense on paper. Maybe you don't have the support system yet, or the relationships or the finances to do it. With this full moon, I want you, or I at least would challenge you to let go of those notions of how is it going to work? Because Mercury in Sagittarius isn't necessarily concerned with how it's going to work. And the thing that's going to be a bit challenging with this full moon is that Mercury, the ruling planet of this lunation, is making a square to Neptune. Almost exactly. We have 24 degrees in 40 minutes and then 24 degrees in 54 minutes. So if you're repeating a narrative of it's not working, it's never going to work, there's never enough money, no one wants to see me win, everyone's out to get me, whatever the narrative is, that is where we get to release it with this full moon. And the Neptune gets to be the fantasy, even a little bit of delusion, this grandeur, this faith of what you're wanting to cultivate, what you're wanting to bring in. So what is that for you? What is the new story? What is the song that you want to listen to? And an easy way for you to feel something is through music. So are there certain songs that empower you? Are there certain songs that empower you to be your best self, to live an expansive life, to envision or imagine a life of your dreams? Recently, I have been listening to Champion by RuPaul, and I listened to that song on loop. RuPaul is someone that I have great reverence for because of the empire that's been created, also a Scorpio stellium. There's a lot of similarities that I really connect with through that avatar, through that frequency, that energetic source. This is also something that you get to look at as well. Mercury are words, stories, especially Mercury in Sagittarius. That is a storyteller. The energy of Sagittarius is this half human, half horse, going from land to either educate, inspire, or entertain. So we get to educate, inspire, and entertain ourselves through our beliefs, through the words that we speak. Are they physically here at this moment? Maybe, maybe not. But if we can't even believe the story that we're telling ourselves, if we're living someone else's story, if we're playing the villain in someone else's story, even though we know that to not be true, why are we perpetuating that story? Why do we keep repeating these words, these beliefs, this noise? Question mark. Period, exclamation point. Why are we doing this again and again and again if it doesn't feel good? Your body is always going to tell you what feels good and what doesn't. And this is an opportunity for you to use your words and your imagination to release pressure, stress on your mind to call in something new. Now, it is a bit of a wide trine, but there's still a trine-based aspect between the moon and Venus. And Venus is currently in her home sign of Libra, conjunct the South Node. So be cognizant of is there a relationship, a physical relationship, an emotional relationship, an energetic relationship. It could be your relationship to food, your relationship to community, your relationship to money, or a physical relationship between a loved one, a colleague, whatever that is. Is there something that needs to change? One thing for me, I'm very big on words, period, especially with clients or friends. And I've always been told, and I think it's because my chart ruler is in the second, and it's part of my purpose here to dispel myths about money or like self-worth around money, and even my own experience with that. But I often get told a lot like, it's expensive, it's going to be expensive, you can't afford it. And I was like, watch me. And so it's like that scene from Legally Blonde where Warner is telling Elle, it's like, you're not smart enough, sweetie. Like, you're not going to get that internship. And she's like, watch me. She goes back. There's a montage. If you know the movie, you know the scene. It's very empowering. So in my personal life, when people have told me that it's too expensive, it is expensive, you can't find a way around this, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense that we live in a world where everything is too expensive, because guess what? There's people living that life. There are people that found a way to call in the opportunities, the resources, the relationships to call in that wealth. So for me, one of my core beliefs that I say every single day, people love me and people want to support me. People love me and people want to support me. People love me. People love supporting me. People love to support my growth. People love to support my vision. People love to support my finances. I expand upon that belief and say it over and over and over and over again every single day. to the point where everyone does want to support me. Everyone's always smiling. People give me free stuff. People give me discounts. People give me deals. I'm the king of deals. But I'm also very generous and reciprocated, generous with my time, my knowledge, my resources. I reciprocate that energy as well so I can love and support other people. Now, even landing in LA for this trip, everyone's like, it's so expensive. It's so expensive. LA is so expensive. I was like, okay, everything can be true. There's not just one truth here. So if you believe that your city is expensive, you are going to attract expensive experiences because you want to be right. Your subconscious wants to prove itself right to protect you. That's all it's trying to do, is protect you, being pragmatic or being disciplined or going over finances or expenses to secure that you can survive in that city, that it's realistic for you to make X amount of money to afford living in X amount of cities or whatever your budgetary constraints are. However, there's always opportunities, there's always resources to make your life better. I'm going to give you two examples because it's happened this week. And I don't believe that everything is out of reach. People love me, people want to support me, including financially. So I went on a date with a gentleman on my birthday. He paid for everything. And he knew the bartenders at every single place that we went to because he also used to be a bartender here in West Hollywood. So he knew all the bartenders. So the one for the round of drinks that we got, the bill was $1.10. I'm like, hello, 11, universal mastery number. So I had someone treat me the entire date. He also got discounts from all these beautiful relationships that were supporting him. So my experience wasn't that LA is expensive. My experience was everyone loves me and everyone wants to support me, including blessing me on my birthday, on my solar return. Incredible. The hotel that I'm staying at, I got an amazing deal on hotwire.com. The hotel was significantly reduced. So I already saved thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars, by using a website that is free to use for everyone. No membership, you don't have to pay any yearly expenses. It's free. And then as I was in this hotel, the second or third morning, I heard this drilling noise, which is probably also the inspiration for this workshop. So thank you. This drilling noise. And at first I'm like, okay, but just one day, it's not a big deal. But then it came through the next day. I was like, all right, I got to switch rooms because this is ridiculous. And before I went down to the front desk, I said, everyone loves me. Everyone wants to support me. This hotel loves me. The staff at this hotel love me. They want to support me. So I go down and I say, hey, I have noticed that there is a drilling noise right outside of my room. Is there any way that I can just switch so I can be on the opposite end or on a different wing of this hotel? The girl working at the front desk is a Taurus angel, and she was working, and it was taking a bit of time. And I was like, if it's too much of an inconvenience, like I don't want to make your life more difficult. She's like, no, I just want to upgrade your room so that you're farther away and you have more space throughout the rest of your time here. And also to apologize for this inconvenience, we're going to give you a meal credit of $50. I'm like, thank you. That's so generous. She's like, of course, I'm so sorry that you had to go through this. So not only did I save thousands of dollars on this room initially, then I got upgraded to a better room that would have cost me more money had I believed that everything is expensive. If I believed that I had to work hard to have to pay for a nice hotel in LA during my time here. That is one reality, if you so choose. There are multiple realities available to you. There are multiple ways that you can live your life. And it can be challenging. I get it. If your entire family is in a scarcity mindset, or all of your girlfriends or all of your friends are in maybe a dating slump, and it's like, men are like this, men are like that, people are like this. Why are people so crazy? If you want to live in that timeline, by all means, but there are other ways. And it comes from being disciplined. It comes from being mindful of how you speak. Gemini is a communicator. Remember, it's an air sign ruled by Mercury. So if we take on other people's energy through their words, through their beliefs, then of course, we're going to sit with that. Does that make sense? Especially with Gemini being a mutable sign, it's able to quickly adapt the conversation. In my experience with Gemini energy, they can be very opinionated, very strong in their conviction with their words, with their ideas, with their creativity, with their talents, which, coming from a very confident source, it's like, oh yeah, I want to listen to this person. I want to hear what they have to say. I want to be entertained by their stories, their words, their knowledge. It's the conviction and how confident they are in terms of their intellect, their wisdom, or their experience and talents that they can do so. If you're confident in saying, I don't know how this is going to work, but it doesn't even matter. I know I'm going to live a life of purpose, of service, of luxury, of love. And I'm going to confirm that and believe it every single day to the point where if it's not in alignment with a certain loved one, colleague, or even my own self, I'm going to know that there is another way for me to receive this. And it really is just taking time to sit with yourself, meditate, journal, ground in, and invest in the right people and the right sources. Even recently, I had a coaching promotion. So I acquired a whole bunch of new clients. And I asked them, what made you want to invest? What made you want to have this coaching at this part of your journey? And pretty much all of them across the board saying, I knew I could do it, certain things on my own, but I wanted to expand my resources, my knowledge, work with an expert. I wanted that additional support to take me to the next level, to surround themselves with a frequency that was aligned for where they're wanting to go. Everything is a choice. We get to choose every day what we wear on our body to make us feel something, to go to a job that we're either in alignment with or not. And that's also a big component of this as well. Your servitude through your work, your career should support what you believe in, because likely you're doing that for X amount of hours every single day. And no matter where you are, even if it's a means to an end or just a part-time gig, you can use that as an arena, so to speak, or an opportunity for you to finesse these beliefs, for you to work on your expression, right? Gemini is a communicator. We need to express these beliefs to ourselves internally, but then to other people to show that they can have whatever they want. Even me sharing these stories with you, stories, Sagittarius, words and knowledge, Gemini, for you to have a new belief, a new faith in how this work works. Neptune, this all gets to work in your favor. It takes some time and discipline, but I promise you, there are many ways for you to acquire whatever you desire. It doesn't have to look one way. It doesn't have to be a 9 to 5. It doesn't mean getting married before this age and having kids here. There are so many ways you can live your life. There are so many ways that you can manifest, conjure, summon, enjoy all the blessings of your life, okay? So let's do some tarot, because I know you guys love the tarot. And I'm going to give you homework, because on our last workshop, the homework portion was well received. And of course, all the workshops that I've ever done are on this YouTube channel. So if you do want an extra piece in terms of meditation, there are many, many, many meditations. There's always timestamps for every single workshop. So for this workshop, I'm going to give homework, but if you want additional meditations, and that's also, I think, coming through for a reason. So if some of you feel like it's just go, 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 and you just want to be in a state where there is no music, no noise, just time for you to connect with your mind, with your soul, that is also highly beneficial in and around this full moon. And especially this upcoming week, there's a lot of mutable activation, a lot of change, and it can feel like a lot. I know, at least for me personally, when I'm going through an integration, sometimes it feels like my head is just throbbing, and it doesn't necessarily go away after a day. There's just time where I need to lie down. There's times where I used to need to drink a lot of water. And sometimes I'm not even that hungry. It's just, I need my body to restore itself and stay hydrated and rest, stay off social media, block out everything, and just know that my body is integrating, that it's taking in all these new beliefs and ideas to expand me to the next level. So if you're at that point, or this is activated with this full moon, and your mind, whether you have a headache, there's no need to judge yourself. There's no need to exert extra energy. Your body and your mind and your soul just need this time of integration, all right? I think for a lot of you watching, whenever you're watching this, or whoever was meant to see this, January and February is coming up of like literally a butterfly emerging. It doesn't mean that it has to take that long. It just feels like whatever you're releasing during this full moon and what you're building and what you're growing, there's likely to be new evidence to support that new belief or mindset shift in and around January and February, okay? And if some of you are dealing with a Libra or the notions of Libra energy, and this I think speaks to the Venus in Libra, of things that are unfair, things that are not working, things that you're doing out of obligation but no longer align for you, that needs to be addressed with this full moon. I think, like we said, with the wide trine between the moon in Gemini and Venus in Libra, and Venus in Libra about to hit the south node, something needs to be let go of, whether it's internally or externally, and it's likely to be a relationship or something that is not fair or just, or an unfair or unjust relationship. That could be the relationship with yourself, the relationship between the masculine and feminine, or a physical relationship that's no longer working. And no surprise, the cards kind of reflect that. So we have the Eight of Swords with the Eight of Cups, hello, a full moon, and the Devil. And the Devil also speaks to Capricorn. Capricorn season as a timing technique. What did we just say? January, February. There's likely to be something that maybe you are in your head as, or that you're currently in your mind right now, cycling, thinking. That is very likely and very normal with a full moon in Gemini. Never mind a full moon in Gemini with Mercury making a square to Neptune. So if you're in your head, or if you feel like you're not making enough progress, this is an invitation for you to decompress, to walk away from an emotional situation or opportunity that is not feeling good. And that can take a lot of courage and conviction to know that you're walking away from something or someone that is no longer supporting you, no longer pouring into you, is no longer aligned. Because there's no need for judgment to really come in. It's just knowing what's aligned and what's not, what is supportive, what is abusive, what is helping you to grow, what is holding you back. And the Devil card really speaks to that as well, in terms of the chains that are holding us down, of these structures, organizations, people that we feel are holding us back. Now, remember, everything is a choice. Are they holding you back, or are you staying in that type of relationship to prove yourself because it's a situation that feels comfortable, because you're scared that you're not going to receive another opportunity or relationship? You're afraid of expressing yourself to receive something that's more fair or more just. This is taking accountability and knowing everything that's happening is because of your beliefs, your actions, or your own inactions. And that's the Eight of Swords. Even with the Eight of Swords in general, it feels like this figure is trapped. But if this figure took a couple steps back or a couple steps forward, they're not actually trapped. They just think that they are trapped. You can even see a castle here in the Eight of Cups, pardon me, the Eight of Swords. So this could be in relation to home, family, or a potential move that you're anxious about. And with the Eight of Cups, it literally, we have the full moon there. So there's likely to be something that you can let go of that's going to make you feel so much better. It might also feel like you're starting from scratch or starting with an empty cup, but isn't that better than having a cup full of poison that the only option is to drink it before it's empty? It's like, no, we don't want any of that. And you're never starting from square one. You're starting with all this knowledge. You're allowing yourself to heal. And even just what I said previously of taking that time to rest and decompress, that's going to be very, very, very helpful. And the Devil card, I want you to notice where you're trapping yourself, where you're keeping yourself stuck, where you kind of need to pull on the leash. I got this feedback and advice from an amazing friend when I was growing up. She's a Pisces. And she was saying that you have to pull on the leash sometimes, that if you're always following orders out of obligation or duty from parents or authorities, and you're never pulling, or you're never kind of rebelling, and rebelling in a sense of what's authentic to you. You're not just pulling for the sake of pulling and causing a lot of upheaval. But if you don't ever question things, if you don't ever push back, if you don't challenge yourself and other people, you're going to feel very stuck, because you're not challenging and pushing your mind, yourself, or your relationship to go further, or to maybe quicken the pace, right? Like when you see people walking dogs and the dogs are just running and the owner has to keep up with them, the dog was able to pull on the leash and move in a different direction. And if you feel like the owner is your mind and you are the person on the leash, you can get your mind to move wherever you want it to be. Yes, it might be challenging. Yes, it might be hard, but there is an opportunity and a way for you to do that. So if we're looking at the Devil card, where do you need to pull on the leash? Where do you need to take away power and control that you're giving to someone or something? And that power control can be to money, fame, career, obligation. There's many different things that we let ourselves control us, whether it's on a conscious or subconscious level. Okay. Now, for the homework, this is where it gets to be really fun. And this might seem like a lot, but if you're wanting to do the work, it's going to be very important. I want you to note what mantras, what affirmations, what beliefs are your go-tos, what you say or what you think every single day. And this is going to take time, ideally, where you journal this out. It's like, what do I believe? What are my core beliefs? What are my core ethics? What am I creating based on the words that I believe, think, and say every single day? That's number one. Number two, when you are in a state of contraction through your words, through your beliefs, what are those contractive beliefs? Are they yours? Did you inherit them from a family, from religion, from society, from friends, from culture? One of which being, like I shared before, everything is so expensive. Is that true? Is that your truth? Or is that something you picked up from someone else? And number three, every single day, as you're reprogramming yourself to have whatever desired beliefs you're wanting as your new standard, if you find yourself deviating, if you find yourself not trusting, then noticing where that's coming from. Is it from the lack of results? Is it from a catalyst from someone that said something? Is it that you getting triggered off something you saw on social media? Because the only way that this work is not going to work is one, you're not disciplined to do the work every single day. Or two, you're allowing other unaligned frequencies, other noise to distract you from the sweet music or from your dream life that you're creating and cultivating. Okay. So it may sound easy in theory, or it might sound hard for you in theory. But if you do this and you're dedicated to the work, I promise you, you can also have a beautiful trip on wherever you want and have people just buy you drinks, or you can find amazing deals, or you can have a beautiful career or love or relationships, whatever you're cultivating. We have to believe it to be true first. We have to gather evidence for that belief, and then we get to see the results in our external reality. All right. So let me know how that resonates, how you're feeling. If you have stories to share of how this work has already helped you in the past in terms of breakthroughs, of shifting a belief, or how your belief maybe is not a common belief, and yet it served you exponentially, and how you maybe have broke generational trauma or societal beliefs to win. I would love to hear about those in the comments. So I'm wishing you all a beautiful full moon. Please, please, please take the time to rest, connect in with your mind, and see what is coming through for this next beautiful expansion to follow. All right. Have a restful was coming in, but successful. So maybe there's something I had to pause. I was like, rest and success, rest and success. The more rest you have, the more success is going to come. Success brings more rest. Rest brings more success. There's something there. So you can take that for resonance. That was like one final download. The more you rest, the more success you have. If that resonates, take it, run with it. Sending you all the love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.